What's happening, everybody? It's range test day, or maybe days, because I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to kill the battery in this bike. This is the Himiway Zebra bike, and we're going to do some testing on this to see the range. Himiway says that they are, a long-range e-bike maker, so we're about to find out. This is a 20 amp hour battery pack in this bike. Normally, when I do range tests, I'll go out and I'll just ride throttle only. Just try to kill the battery as fast as I can, give you that bottom number, what's the minimum you're going to get. Flat out, full throttle, full blast for as long as I can. I would guess, I've done enough of those, I would guess on this bike I'd probably get a good 30 miles at least, doing it that way. But I'm gonna do it different this time. We're gonna go out and just ride it like I normally ride an e-bike. What's my realistic normal riding range? That's how we're gonna do this one. So mixture of pedaling, doesn't have to be full throttle all the time, and we'll see what we get. I don't really even know what to guess. I've never really done a range test like that, so I guess we'll see. We'll see how far I can get just with normal e-bike riding. Let's get started. All right, folks, this is the Himiway Zebra bike, and I want to point a couple things out before we get started. I've made a couple alterations to this bike. I put on a suspension seat post and a little bit softer seat, take some sting out of the bumps, put on a stem riser right here to lift the handlebars up a little bit, give me a more comfortable ride position. But I want to point out that I changed the tires. These aren't the stock tires that Himiway uses. I put these on. If you didn't see that first video I did, check that out of me, installing and upgrading to these gigantic fat tires. These are even fatter than normal. The newer Himiway bikes have the ability to accommodate 4.8 inch tires. So I threw on 4.9 inch tires, 26 by 4.9. They are Origin 8 Tsunami tires. They look amazing on there, way fatter. I don't know if that's going to factor into range all that much, but I don't know. They, I guess there's gonna be a little more rolling resistance maybe. I keep them pretty firm, probably 18, 20 PSI, something like that. They're lighter tires than the stock tires, so maybe that will even it out. I don't know, but I want to point that out, not the stock tires on this bike. I am gonna ride this bike like I normally ride, right? I wanna see if I just ride an e-bike like I normally ride an e-bike, how far is it gonna take me? Is this a long range bike or not? I'm gonna have to do this test over a couple days probably, because I'm anticipating it to go pretty darn far, and I don't have like 4 or 5 hours to kill today. Citizen's a busy guy, so if I get a couple hours here and there to myself, I'm lucky. So it might be a couple day test. Here's some stats. This bike is heavy. It weighs 87 pounds. 87 pounds this Zebra weighs. I weigh about 177 when I weighed myself the other day. So with my jacket and all my stuff on, maybe 185. So bike weight, my weight. It's cool today. It's about in the high 50s right now, sunny. I'm gonna be riding mostly flat terrain. It's not very hilly where I live. So mostly flat ground, mostly pavement. I might go off-road here and there, not a whole lot of trail riding or off-roading though. Gonna keep it mainly on the streets. What else? It is a squeaky brakes. I've been having a hard time getting the squeal out of these brakes. It's a 20 amp hour battery pack, so it's gonna go a pretty good range because that's a decent sized battery. If I squeeze them harder, they're not quite as squealy. All right, so good sized battery pack, mostly for flat ground, and I pedal a lot. I blast on the throttle a lot, so I'm just gonna ride it like I normally would. And I think that's about all we need to know to get started. I'm a 1.8 miles into the test, and I've already come to a dead end. I'm gonna have to turn around and go back. Great, I don't even know where I'm gonna ride. I've recently moved to a new town, so I don't really have a good plan of where I'm gonna go do this, because I gotta ride for a while. But I'll check in as we start to lose battery bars and find out how long this long range e-bike really goes. I'll check back in soon. All right, we're on day 2, second day riding the bike. First day I went out and rode about 17 miles. I rode until I got the first battery bar to go down, right? That took about 17 and a half miles before that first battery piece dropped off there. And I was pretty heavy handed on the throttle. I was using the throttle a lot, trying to get that first bar down. Kept it in pedal assist, mostly 3 yesterday, and yeah, we got 1 bar off there. I'm now at 20 and a half miles, and today I'm going to try to do maybe some more riding like this, where I'm just cruising along 15 miles an hour, casually pedaling. I'm trying to get over here to another neighborhood. None of these neighborhoods connect. It's annoying. I gotta find little paths through the woods to get where I'm going. But that's the joy of e-biking. All right, let's cross over here. Ooh, it's a little rough. That's a big good test. Ooh, lots of ruts. Let's downshift into fourth. Let's go to third. Third mechanical gear. That way, if I need some torque to climb this hill over here, I've got it. I'm asking for a flat tire right now. I'm basically riding around on giant balloons. Oh God, here's what's gonna happen. All right, we made it through. Oh, these ruts are terrible. Who is driving through here? What the heck? Let's stand up pedal. I'm just cranking the throttle full blast and pedaling. No sweat climbing that little hill. All right, we made a quick pit stop for some photo opportunities here with the Himiway bike. Put them on the main stage here. It's a beautiful stage. They just finished this park not long ago. Love coming here. Tons of wide open space. I like to film here sometimes too, but we just crossed over the 30-mile mark, and we've got 2 bars left showing, but I've been on 2 bars for a while, so I'm probably about to be down to 1. And I have been thoroughly enjoying myself on this ride. I have been all over the place, all over town, both sides of town. And that is the beauty of an e-bike. That's one of the reasons I love them, is that you can go anywhere and not have to worry about getting back, unless you get down to 1 bar and then start worrying about getting back. But I've been exploring this town, finding all kinds of stuff. That's the good thing. I find all kinds of little filming spots and like stores and different things around town that you don't really find in your car, you know? So I love the e-bikes for that purpose, for just exploring your town. You get to learn so much about your surroundings, and you learn little like cut-throughs and side streets and back alleyways and ways to get around on the bike. So if you're not gonna get one for exercise or for community work, get one for that. Get one to just explore. Well, let's keep going. I don't know if we're gonna hit my estimate of 45 miles or not. I think we're gonna come in under that. I don't think it's gonna quite get there. We might crack into the 40s though. The last bar usually tends to last forever on these bikes, so I anticipate we're gonna get maybe near that 40 mark. We'll find out. I will do a final check-in once I know that we're near the end of things, so be back soon. All right, we are reaching the end. I'm at 41.3 miles, and the power has fallen off significantly. Once I crossed over the 40-mile mark, power just dropped way off. I'll give you an idea of how much juice we got. Let's hit the throttle here from standstill on level ground. That's full throttle. Normally it'll take you up to 24 miles an hour, but we're not gonna get near that. We're at 12, 13, little tiny bit of a downhill grade. $16 miles an hour. That's my top speed right now on flat ground. So it's still, the bike's still technically going. It just got really windy. And it's still assisting you. So I would say once you get to this point in the power delivery, you better be in your neighborhood approaching home, because this has probably only got a couple more miles in it. I'm in the neighborhood over across the street from my neighborhood, so I'm gonna get home, because by the time I get home, it'll probably be pretty close to dead. The little battery thing has not started flashing at me yet, so I don't know how much longer it's gonna last, but anytime you get on any kind of uphill incline, it dies pretty good. So this is like just enough power to get you home on this really heavy fat bike, right? So I think we're gonna end up in the low 40s for our total mileage. I'm not gonna stop right here because there's no cars coming in. I don't want to break my momentum on this bike. Okay, let's see what the throttle does right here. I didn't even feel it kick in. It's barely going. Yeah, we're pretty much done. I usually ride these bikes until I'll say what is the end of usable power. This is pretty much the end of usable power. not gonna even make it up this little incline probably. We're at 41.8, so let's just call it like 42 miles is gonna be the range of this bike that I got anyway, when my mixture of pedaling and throttling, and I was using a lot of throttle though. I mean, it's pretty heavy-handed on the throttle for a lot of the ride, and pretty high in the pedal assist level for the most part. I mean, I'm in 4 now, but it just doesn't have the, I'm pushing really hard on the pedals. This is gonna be just enough to get me home. Downshift. These get really heavy when there's no motor helping you. Thank God I'm only like half a mile away. Okay, there you go. Crossed over to 42 miles officially. Let's stop over here and talk about it for 1 second. Now, I know that is not what they claim on the website, right? Ooh, man, these brakes are so squealy. I don't know what they claim on the website. It's something pretty crazy, like 60 or 80 or something like that. So, is it a long-range e-bike? Yeah, I mean, for me it is. You got to think, here's the 2 things I want you to think about. The first is, how far do you ride on your rides? I ride like 15 miles or less on all of my rides, pretty much, except if I'm doing a range test. So this bike has almost triple the capacity that I need. So yeah, it's pretty long range. The second thing I want you to consider is, how do you ride it? I just rode this bike however I wanted. I just spent 42 miles out there using the throttle as much as I want. I didn't pedal hard at any point. I came to a big hill, I just hit the throttle up the hill. I used high levels of pedal assist. I was moving down the road 25 miles an hour for a long stretch of time. I was using the throttle a lot. I took it off-road using the throttle a bunch. I mean, I rode with complete disregard for battery conservation. I didn't worry about the battery at all. I spent 42 miles not even worrying about the battery. That's a long way to go without worrying about it. Well, I mean, I worried at the end. Once it got down to, 1 bar, and I had ridden on the 1 bar for a while, then I was like, okay, then I better get home. But for the first, I would say 36 miles, I didn't even think about it. I just rode the bike however I felt like it. So to me, that's pretty good, to just go out and ride using as much throttle, as much pedal assist as you want for 36 miles before you start to think, okay, I got to get home. So there you go. That's my range test on the Himiway Zebra. I hope you found that helpful. Again, everybody's range is going to vary depending on how you ride, the terrain you ride, how much you weigh, the weather, all that stuff. But this is just one example to show you realistically what you can get out of this e-bike. And also too, how much did this hurt me, having these gigantic 4.9-inch tires on there with rolling resistance from that. So maybe that cut into it as well. But hope you found that helpful, enjoyable. If you did, hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to y'all later. Thanks.